So, without further ado, Shane, can you give us your feelings just coming into this week and I guess finally being able to defend the trophy that you won so brilliantly at Royal Portrush 2 years ago?
Yeah, I'm. Look, obviously, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be here in some sort of a normal capacity as regards to having quite a few people out on the golf course, and I think not having the Open last year was obviously, it was disappointing because you want to play in the biggest tournaments year in, year out, but I think coming back here and having the big grandstands and having the crowds out there and all that type of stuff and everything that comes along with the Open Championship, I think that's going to be pretty cool this week. So I'm really looking forward to the week ahead. I'm not that I'm ready to give the claret jug back. I just handed it back, so I'm ready. That I'm happy that it's here, and I'm happy that I'm here defending, and I'm really looking forward to the week.
Great. Well, thank you. Well, with that, we'll take questions from the floor. If you can raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. We'll start with you at the front, please. Yes.
Shane, do you think the pressure of defending a tournament 2 years on is any different to 1 year? Do you think the pressure builds up or the pressure eases off because it's not a normal defence, if you know what I mean?
Yeah,
how do you think that?
I have no idea, to be honest. Like, the thing is, obviously I've defended tournaments before, but I've never come and defended a tournament of this magnitude. I've never really had that, so everything that happens for me this week is kind of new. But at the end of the day, like, it's just, I don't like using cliches. It's another golf tournament, it's another major. Obviously there's going to be, high pressure at certain stages. You want to go out there and do as best you can. I've got, a lot more on my mind, a lot more to play for than just defending the trophy. So there's a lot of things that, there's a lot of things that I've got to play for this week other than defending the trophy. So it's a bit of everything. I think it's, been announced on the first tee as defending champion. I'll be happy, obviously, to get that tee shot away. And if you've seen the rough down the first hole, I'll be happy if it's on the fairway. Even happier if it's on the fairway. But yeah, it's I've no idea. But like, I'm kind of going into this week with an open mind, and I'm really looking forward to the week ahead. And I'm looking forward to kind of playing in the Open Championship because we did miss it last year. And I've obviously got a few of those to play in over the next number of years, which is pretty cool. And like I said, I'm just looking forward to the whole week.
Okay, next question. Phil on the left, please.
Shane, is there any way in which the delay could have done you a favour, just in terms of form? Like, if you think back to your form this time last year compared to where you're coming into it now?
Yeah, I think, I look back on 2020 as a season, and without making excuses too much, I think playing in front of fans does it for me. Not playing in front of fans doesn't do it for me, and that's just the way it is. I think I struggled last year coming out of lockdown. I was playing great. Never played as much golf in my life, and just was stale when I got out there. I just couldn't get it going. And I think even little things like if you're struggling to make a cut, or if you're down the bottom of the field, having people out there on the golf course kind of spurs you on a little bit. And at the end of the day, like I said at the Irish Open a couple of weeks ago, we're kind of in the entertainment business where you're out there, and it's almost when I have a difficult shot, or when I'm stuck behind a tree, or if I have tough up and down, I'm trying to almost show off a little bit. So I feel like 2020 was kind of a bit of a write-off for me. So I don't think, obviously my form is pretty decent coming in this year, and I'm pretty happy with that. But I don't really look back in 2020 and with too much with anything, to be honest. It's kind of put it behind me and move on. And this year, thankfully, has been a little bit better.
Next question, Ian, please.
Shane, can you compare your feelings heading into this week compared with how you were feeling going into Portrush? Because you admitted you had a degree of anxiety about that beforehand, and sort of settling coffees with Neil and that sort of thing. Obviously, there's different dynamics at play this time. Yeah,
look, I'm sure there's going to be a bit of anxiety there Wednesday evening this week as well. There is every week. I suppose most of the tournaments I play these days are big tournaments, so you kind of, you have a lot to play for. You want to go out and do well, and there always is that little bit of anxiousness there to try and to get out there and get going on a Thursday morning, and it'll be the same this week. Portrush, when I look back on it, my form going into Portrush was really good. It was, I was competing in America, I was competing well, I had a chance to win a couple of tournaments, and I know I finished kind of middle of the pack at the Irish Open in the Hinge, but I really felt like my golf was quite good, and when I look back on it, I was in a great place, but I didn't feel like I was. You know what I mean? But I think it's almost when you have those little kind of hiccups the week of big tournaments, like, you know, I went into Torrey Pines and I sat down with Neil on the Wednesday evening and I never felt as good. And I went out and obviously things didn't go my way. And it's funny how when you're not feeling your best, maybe in your head, it kind of focuses you a little bit better when you get on the golf course. And, you know, maybe there's something to that. There's something to having that little bit of anxiety there and that little bit of, you know, kind of, if things don't, you know, you kind of sort of, it just focuses you in on your shots if you're kind of don't feel 100% about your game. That's, I don't know if there's anything in it, but honestly at Torrey Pines I sat there on the Wednesday evening and I genuinely felt like I was going to have a chance to win the tournament come the weekend, and that obviously doesn't work for me.
Okay, we'll go John at the back, please.
Shane, what does it feel to be a bit of a pub quiz question? The champion who held it for 2 years, having played once and all that sort of stuff. I mean, that must have come to you many times. People must have commented on that too many times.
Oh yeah, look, everybody's commented on it a lot over the last 2 years, and not that you get sick of hearing it, because you never get sick of hearing that you're the Open champion. And but like I said earlier on, I'm kind of ready to defend it. I'm ready to go and play in the Open again, and I'm looking forward to it. So look, obviously it will be a bit of a, you know, one of those questions over the years, and yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel anything about it, to be honest. I just feel, look, I look back on Portrush, and I look back on Portrush with incredible memories and fond memories, and something that I'll have no matter what I do for the rest of my career. I'll always have that.
Okay, next question in the middle, please.
Hi Shane. You say you're in the entertainment business, which I agree with, definitely, but obviously the reality is quite sobering when Zach Johnson, for instance, tests positive for COVID. There's 32,000 here for the event. You know, it's great that they're here, but it's kind of a sobering thing, isn't it?
Yeah, look, obviously it's not ideal, but that's the world we live in at the minute. You know, that's the rules we have to abide by, and if you test positive, you can't play. You know, and that's why we're, you know, the RNA have done a great job, and they're doing a good job this week at trying to keep us in, you know, keep us away from as many people as they can. I know there's going to be 32,000 people there, but I think that's great for the tournament. But us as players, I'm in my own bubble at my own house, and I'm not leaving. I'm not allowed to do that, any of that stuff, and I think that's good. And like I don't want to be here playing in front of nobody. So I think it's great that there's 32,000 people, and I was very excited when I heard that there was going to be that many people here. And I think, yeah, it's just the times we live in, and like you don't know what's going to happen over the next few months, do we? Because like if you had told us this time last year that we'd still be sitting here, social distance, wearing masks, doing all that stuff with, you know, not 100% capacity and living in a bubble, you kind of would have laughed at someone. So, but like, you just have to mind yourself. You know, I'm not saying Zach didn't mind himself, because he probably did, and he probably got it somewhere stupid, but that's the nature of the world we live in at the minute. Yeah.
Okay, next question in front, please.
Hi Shane. I understand what you were saying earlier about you're here with lots of different priorities. You know, it's not just the Open, but I just wonder, given that you didn't get the chance to defend it last year, are there any different feelings, any new feelings, almost like because of the magnitude of this competition, kind of, you know, you don't know what you've got until something's gone, and because we didn't have it last year. So are there any special feelings you have about coming back to defend the Open? And secondly, just briefly, have you ever been in the pub when that question's been answered about you?
And people probably think I have, because apparently that's all I do every evening. But to be honest, like Paul asked me a question this morning. I was chatting about the course, and he said, "How did you feel coming in here?" And I was like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I just kind of driving up to an event. I just coming to play in the Open. Obviously, exciting. Like coming to play in the Open Championship, whether you're defending or not, is exciting, because it's such a big event. And I always remember coming to my first Open in St Andrews, and I couldn't believe the size of the grandstands and the magnitude of the whole thing, and the fact that, you know, we're here at St George's with, obviously it's great to be out there. And to be honest, out there on links golf courses, it's great to have the grandstands for lines off tees more than anything else. So if we didn't have them out there, it'd make the golf course a little bit harder. But it's, I think it's it's just great to be here. It's always great to play in the Open. And I said, one of the coolest things about being the Open champion is I get to playing it for years. I have a lot more left, which is obviously really cool. And this is one of them. And look, I hope that I can be competitive this week. I just like to put up a good defence of my trophy, and I give anything to give myself a good chance to win come the weekend. And I'm out there planning for that over the next few days, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, we'll take 2 more questions in the room and then switch over to the callers on Zoom. So start at the back, please.
Hi Shane, how are you? Give us a sense, Shane, this morning you were out for a few holes or a walk on the course. What were your initial thoughts there this morning for the few holes? And as regards your form coming in, you must be very happy with your form coming in this week and the bit of links practice that you got last week as well.
Yeah, so the weather, obviously, I got here at like 8 o'clock this morning. The weather wasn't very favourable. I was planning on playing 18 holes, but so I went out for a walk and I walked the front 9, and then I went out and I played. I came back in when the weather brightened up and got my clubs, and I played 12 holes. I played the first 2 and the last 11, the 9th, the 18th, last 10. So the course is good. It's soft with all the rain. It's going to be soft probably for the next day or so. I think the forecast then is going to dry up, and the course will hopefully dry out a little bit and play a little bit what St. George's is supposed to play like. But it's difficult to get a feeling for what I could actually play like today, because everything that I've heard over the years is that St. George's, you can hit decent shots and to get bounces on the fairways and kick them into the rough. I didn't see any of that out there today. So I suppose the next couple of practice rounds I'm going to play late tomorrow, and maybe might play late on Wednesday, just trying to get a feeling for how fiery the course could actually play come Thursday. But as regards my form, it's been pretty good. I try not to think about it that much, but I've had some good results over the last number of months, and I'm pretty happy where my game is at. I've played, like you said, I played a couple of links courses back home last week, which was pretty nice. It was nice to get away with my friends and just go out there and play some links golf and get some good prep for this week. And because it does take a little while to get used to playing links golf, and I think I kind of underestimated that. I remember my first full season on the PGA Tour, I came back and went to play the Scottish Open, and struggled to get my head around hitting a 7-iron 150 yards as opposed to hitting a 180 or 190 over in the States. So it does take a little bit of getting used to, but I feel like I'm there, and I feel like I'm ready to kind of attack the week.
Okay, I'm going to have to hand over to the callers on Zoom to make sure they've got a chance. So I'll hand over to Liv at this point, please.
Thanks, Mike. I think we've probably only got time for 1, maybe 2 questions. Philip Reid, if you'd like to unmute yourself, please.
Hi Shane, how are you?
Hi Philip.
Shane, I'm just wondering about the whole concept of the bubble. Who have you got in with you this week, and can you actually make that work to your favour to some extent, in that it's just your close members of your team?
It's funny, we were actually talking about it last night. It's a bubble, but I don't think I'd be doing anything different than I normally do. I come to the golf course, I play, and I go home and we have dinner in the house, and that's it. That's all you do. I've got Neil, Wendy and Brian in my bubble this week, and that's it. We're in the house together, and it's just kind of watch a bit of TV and have some food in the evenings, and you don't do anything else the week of big tournaments. You're kind of resting up as much as you can, and you're obviously here playing and practicing all day every day when you're here. So there's not much different as regards to kind of make it work to my favour. Probably, look, I reckon if it was a normal Open and I was defending, I might have a couple of more things to do. So it probably is working in my favour a little bit as regards my performance.
Thanks, Mike, and we'll pass back to you now.
Okay, well thank you, Liv. Shane, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time as always, and best of luck this week.
Thank you. Thanks very much.